Good afternoon, everybody. We are Group 1, and this is our final presentation of comparative political system, in which we have chosen two different frameworks in order to analyze and compare 10 different countries. So the 10 countries we have chosen for this presentation are Austria, Brazil, Cambodia, Chile, Denmark, Ecuador, Hungary, Italy, Lebanon, and Qatar. We can see that these countries are very different in many ways, including location, since we have countries from different continents such as Europe, South America, and Asia, also population and also voting system. We have countries that have first past the post system and others with proportional representation. So for the first 5 countries we have here, I would like to talk specifically about Brazil, since it is a country with the largest population of the 10 countries we have chosen. It has 1,212 million inhabitants, and its voting system is proportional representation. The current party in power is the Workers' Party. Then moving on to the next 5 countries we have chosen, we have in here the country with the lowest population of the countries we have chosen, which is Qatar, with 2.9 million inhabitants. In this case, it doesn't have a voting system nor a current party in power, since it is an absolute monarchy.
So, as we have said before, we have chosen 2 different frameworks. And the first framework we're going to analyze is Norris types of governments. So, according to Norris, we can find 5 different types of governments. The first one is the ruling monarchies, which are associated with titles such as king or queen. The second type of government, according to Norris, is the parliamentary monarchies, in which the monarch is the one who exercises the authority. In a third place, we can find the presidential regimes, which have a unitary executive. In the fourth place, according to Norris, there are also mixed republics, which are the ones who share power between the president and the prime minister. And finally, the fifth one are the military states. And in these states, the power resides with the armed forces.
Our second framework is the GDP per capita of our countries. When we look at the table, we can see that Qatar has by far the most GDP of all countries, and that even though Qatar is by far the smallest country with the smallest population of this country. When we look at this graph, we can also see that all the European countries have way higher GDPs than the rest of the countries in Asia or Latin America. Especially Cambodia has a really, really low GDP. When we look now at Qatar specifically, we can see that the GDP of Qatar raised in the 30s until the 60s, then dropped and increased significantly in the last 30 years. Also, we can see in Hungary really well how political decision has increased the GDP of the country. With 1990 and the opening of the Iron Curtain and the opening to the Western world, the economy has increased and gotten better in Hungary. As final conclusion, we can say that in general, European countries have a higher GDP than countries from Asia and South America. Even though Qatar is the smallest population, it has the highest GDP. Also, the country with the lowest and highest GDP has the same type of government. Also, when we look at the GDP, we can see that all European countries are ranked in the top 5 in our list. When we look back at the different types of government, we can see that none of the countries are military states, and also ruling monarchies are rare and not really modern right now in the world. When we look back at the different voting systems, we can also see that proportional voting is more often used in the different countries than any other voting system. The second most popular voting system is first past the post. Thank you for listening.